So let's fly over the Southwest Gauteng TVET College campuses, Southwest Soweto, Southwestern Township. So to do that, we're going to fly straight into Soweto. And I want to frame it with, on your left, the Roodepoort crater. On your right, you've got the Vaal Dam. And there you can see the Vaal River framing Gauteng. And then you get this sight of all of Gauteng from Vereniging through the Witwatersrand all the way through to Pretoria, with this astonishing view of townships all the way from Zamdela, which is like in the Free State, opposite Sasolburg, running all the way through Vanderbijl Park to Sebokeng. And you've got Sharpeville, where the terrible massacres happened. Then you've got Everton, which was a freehold settlement in 1905. You've got Orange Farm, where all the laid-off farm workers went. Then you've got Ennerdale, which was set up for the coloured communities around 1988. And then you've got Lenasia, which was set up for the Indian community. And now you'll get first sight of Soweto, and immediately notice the huge amounts of water around it, which we'll talk to later. There's the Avalon Cemetery, which is the biggest cemetery in South Africa, famous for having people like Hector Peterson being buried here. And right in the middle of Soweto, you'll find the Jabulani Mall with all its more recent developments. There's sports centers there, nice flats which you can stay, good shopping center, creating this new vibey Soweto, which I want to hold on to as we also explore the history of this astonishing place. Now we're going to do a curve around so you can get a sight of the Rea Vaya depot and also Patcoville, all those buses over there, trying to create a public transport sector for Soweto. And there you can see the Dobsonville campus. Now this is a business studies campus really, so you can do marketing and public management and business management and all those kinds of things. Plus you can do popular music over here, composition, studio work and performance. I want you to check out those tunnels over there. We're going to fly right over that. Those are hydroponic tunnels done with Roodepoort TVET College in the Netherlands, ensuring that you can grow all sorts of vegetables in those places. Now we're going to pull out northwards. I want to give you a sight of the huge number of mine dumps that framed the northern boundary of Soweto. So you've got Soweto on the southwest, and then you've got Joburg and all the rich suburbs on the north, with Main Reef Road the dividing line between the rich north and the poor south. And you can actually see many of the mine dumps have been mined again. They've been stripped down to get whatever uranium and gold is left there. And that means huge acidic water problems, massive issues with radioactivity in the area, really poor health in the communities staying around here. And you will notice that Soweto's in like a depression. You'll see that the water flows from the Witwatersrand down through Soweto and then eventually down to the Vaal River. This land over here considered to be the least viable, right next to the mine dumps. Huge winds blowing the dust over Soweto. And we're going to fly to the Roodepoort campus, past the railway line which runs through the middle of Soweto, and the hostels which dot the area, along with the primary schools and the high schools, making this initially a dormitory suburb where people just came and slept and then went to work in the white rich households around the northern suburbs. Now, Roodepoort is the head office, and it also offers the engineering program. So you can do engineering and related design, mechanical engineering. You can do civil engineering and building construction. You can do process plant operations. And then in the native side, you can do the civil and electrical and mechanical engineering. Now we're going to fly to the George Tabor campus, and I want to do that by taking a roundabout route where you firstly see the Dube hostels, where there was an attempt to segregate all our black people into highly tribalized zones. Then you have the beautiful old Soweto towers with the Orlando Dam, and you can see the Baragwanath Hospital, where you've got the University of Joburg on your left-hand side, and you can see that Soweto is really located in a depression, huge amounts of water, most of it poisoned, going through to George Tabor. Now this really focuses on utility studies. So you can do safety in society, that policing program. You can do tourism, you can do information technology and computer science, transport and logistics, and then you can also do clothing construction and clothing production. Two brilliant programs. Now I want to pull out southwards over Lenasia so you can get a sense of the segregation between the Indian townships in front of you, then Soweto stretching out in the middle, and then right in the distance you can see the green northern suburbs. And we're flying through to the Roodepoort West Campus, actually where I grew up. And this is really the origins of the Klip River that runs from here southwards down through Soweto down to the Vaal River. And you'll see this was historically where the white working to middle class mine workers lived. And over here you can do electrical infrastructure construction, mechatronics, you can do electrical engineering, and you can do water and wastewater management. And we're actually going to pull out over my house in Lindhaven. It was a tough kind of working class upbringing, I suppose. The mine dumps and these dams and rivers were our playgrounds, with the beautiful hills on the one side where we used to go climbing. Now, the Roodepoort campus basically combines business studies on the one side and then utility studies on the other side. So you can do things like management assistance over here and financial management and business management. But then you can also do stuff like education and development, which is where you learn to work with kids for creches. And then you can do things like primary health care and hospitality and catering services. And you'll notice that Roodepoort's actually got really good facilities. So you've got the Westridge High School, you've got Horizon View Primary, then you've got all these shopping centres. And contrast it to what's going on in Krugersdorp and Randfontein, which were really like the far-thrown edges of the West Rand, kind of abandoned by development, with Roodepoort becoming a part of the Joburg Development North, extending all the way through from Roodepoort through to Sandton. And as we do a radical pullback, you can see the extent of the development in this northern area. One of the world's biggest artificial forests, grown by all the wealth being channeled into this area and all the labor from Soweto going to work in these areas. With the Technisa campus located in the middle of this, right near Randburg, right by the Braamfontein Spruit, running north this time. So we're on the other side of the watershed. Now what you'll begin to notice is that actually Southwest is one of the best TVET colleges in Gauteng. And it's got this Technisa campus, which is really a distance come online learning campus, which has got really valuable during these COVID times. And over here you can do things like management on the one side, and then you can also do primary health care and tourism. But really this is the distance site from which they are generating all the programs stretching across South Africa from this location. Now I want to do a real radical pullback. We're going to zip around Ponte Towers to get a sight of all the Southwest Gauteng TVET colleges, all the way from Randburg and then the ones in Soweto and the ones in Roodepoort. And now we're going to go to the final campus. Now it's located out near the Stakfontein Caves, the place where we have one of the origins of humankind. It's called the Land is Wealth Farm in Stakfontein. Now on the one side it's really an extension of George Tabor, but over here you do primary agriculture. And what I was really impressed by was the innovation of Southwest Gauteng as a whole. They got their own students who were doing civil engineering and kind of working with bricklaying to work with the bricky team here to build some of this campus over here, done at half the cost of what it would have been. And in some ways it's fitting that we go past Maropeng, the visitors center for this renowned fossil site where we have evidence of first technology, of how we and our ancestors worked with stone and worked with wood to create the first tools and implements to improve our lives. And I want to pull back over the Pretoria, Witwatersrand, Vereniging area so you can get a huge sense of how Gauteng works between the Magaliesberg on the one side and the Vaal River on the other side, with Southwest Gauteng TVET College making a huge difference in terms of developing skills and jobs for our people as we move forward in this country of ours.